A very warm welcome to all of you, to our customers, to our partners, our friends, especially to a few curious faces I see here who are probably in their Zoholics for the first time. Welcome to Zoholics 2025. In my session, I'm going to talk about building resilience in the UK businesses in the context of the current economic backdrop that we have in the country. So what does the economic situation look like? The state of UK economy is not good. You can't mince words about it. The GDP growth dropped from 0.7% in Q1 to 0.3% in Q2, which was the April to June quarter. And if you look at the previous year, 2024, not a very different picture. It kept on dropping from Q1 to Q4. If we look a little longer going back in time, from 2019, so pre-pandemic levels to what it is now, UK economy has grown about 4.5%. And in this period, Eurozone grew 6%, and the US economy grew 13%. So again, not that rosy a picture in the relative context. And on top of it, inflation has been stubborn. The interest rates did not quite come down, as we all heard that they would, and the margins have been tight. In the context of this scenario, the view of the UK government is that technology adoption is a means to drive innovation and growth in UK businesses. And with that in mind, they undertook a study to get into more details called as Technology Adoption Review, and this report came out just a few months ago in June 2025. They identified these key 6 barriers to adoption of technology in UK businesses. Cost of acquiring technology, especially in the current environment where the money is tight, the cash flow is scarce. Lack of skills, not just in terms of skills to use technology in the workforce, but even skills in the management to understand and make sense of technology and make decisions about it. Resistance to change within the organizations to adopt anything new. Information gaps, which exist in terms of adopting technology, what are the benefits which one will get vis-a-vis the risks which are associated. There is a bit of policy uncertainty, with the technology changing at such a pace, and especially in the wake of AI. How are the businesses supposed to deal with the governance, the compliances, especially around the data, the privacy, and aspects of that nature? And then infrastructure gaps, right from availability of things like broadband to the systems which the companies have internally. Our own study had similar findings. I'm talking about the European Digital Health Study, which we do every year, where we survey 1,500 businesses, senior executives in these businesses, and a good proportion of these were from the UK. The results indicated that only 28% of UK businesses considered themselves to be in good digital health. Now, this was an improvement of 9% compared to previous year, but if you think of 72% of the companies making a self-assessment of their digital health being poor, is again not a good situation. And the key barriers to good digital health, in other words, barriers to adopting technology effectively, were cost of implementation, the time and effort that goes into it, integration challenges when you try to bring new technology and integrate with what you already have as existing stack, and complexity of their IT stack. It already seemed fairly complex, and then bringing something new and deal with just managing this whole seemed a bit too much to handle. On the other hand, companies which were in good digital health were able to see some clear, tangible impact in terms of the business. 51% of these companies agreed that they were able to improve the customer experience, deliver a better experience to their customers. 46% cited improvement in their own internal operations. 36% felt that they were able to deliver better employee experience for their staff. And interestingly, companies in good digital health felt 7 times more likely, more prepared to use AI, which is not surprising if you think of it, because digital maturity is a prerequisite to AI maturity. Only if you have your processes within the organization digitized, that you have a good pool of data available about your business, and only then can AI make any sense out of it. So if we look at this report, our own report, government's report, and look at the findings, it's clear that UK is at a turning point given the economic scenario, and that adoption, not invention, is the lever for growth and resilience. So the important question, how can Zoho help? What is Zoho doing about this? Now, we can't change everything. We can't rewrite regulation, not gone into politics as yet. But there are things that we can do and we are doing. And we call this approach as 5 pillars of resilience, which helps UK businesses adopt better, build long-term resilience in this environment. And before I dive deeper into it, I'll take a quick moment to give a snapshot about Zoho as an organization. I thought it will be useful for many of you who are new to Zoho, who are attending Zoholics for the first time. So we've been around close to 3 decades, 18,000 employees in Zoho. Many of many of us you will meet here between today and tomorrow, who've come from our various different offices. A large portfolio of product, 55 different business apps, which are used by close to 900,000 companies across the globe in 150 countries. So that's a quick snapshot. In the session that follows mine, there will be a lot more details about what our philosophy is as a company, why we do what we do. So look forward to that session from my colleague Vijay. So coming back into the pillars of resilience that I started talking about, the first one is trust. And you may ask, why am I talking about trust? As you saw earlier in the study findings, lack of confidence or lack of trust was one of the key barriers to adoption of technology. And rightfully so, if you think of, as a business, it is not just your responsibility to protect your own data, but also protect your customers' data and your suppliers' data. And failing to do so can incur some serious liabilities, be it in terms of reputational damage, loss of business, sometimes even serious fines. And the regulation around this is only getting more stringent, which means that resilience in 2025 is built on trust. Trust that you have your system secure, trust that your data, your customers' data, your suppliers' data is held privately under the right guardrails, and that your technology partner is transparent, able to share all this information with you about the governance, the compliance, and is long-term stable. And to be honest, our industry has not been very helpful in this context. There are many technology companies which operate on the other spectrum of trust. They have freemium models, free models, and then they do data surveillance, sell ads, sell customer data, and for them, customers are not partners, but the product. Zoho has taken a different approach in this. We have built our business model around trust. We have no ads even in our free editions, no selling of data. Your data belongs to you. And we are privately owned, which means You will not wake up one morning and realize Zoho got acquired, and now your data is in some unknown hands, and you don't know how to deal with it. While the data of UK customers, all your businesses, is housed in our European data centers, and it complies with all the required regulations of the land. But heeding to the direction of the regulatory winds as we have gauged, we decided to make a big investment in setting up the data center in the UK, and this will go live in Q1 of 2026. Which means that in the future, at any point, if you have a requirement where the data needs to stay within the country, and this may be sensitive based on regulation which may come later, or sometimes in public sector, sometimes in financial services, sometimes in healthcare, all that will be possible, and you will be protected, you will be compliant over a period of time. We are also Cyber Essentials Plus compliant, which is the gold standard in the UK for cyber assurance. Let's look at the case of LRG standards. They are, if you will, in the business of trust. Right? They certify allergy-friendly products for some of the best global brands. And you can imagine one wrong certificate, one error of judgment can mean that their label could lose its significance overnight. And prior to Zoho, as when they were growing up, all these approvals, this data used to be spread between spreadsheets and emails. And as their business was growing, they didn't find that to be a sustainable model. And they decided to build a secure central approval system on Zoho Creator. Now certificates are generated digitally, signed digitally, shared with all the stakeholders in real-time basis. Hundreds of hours saved, thousands of emails avoided. Importantly, the trust is reinforced at every touch point. Now, what's also important in this context, and the way I look at it, is that trust is not just about keeping your data safe. It is about keeping the promises that you made to your customers. And that's trust by design. Olivia and Carl talked about this, but just a quick reminder, we have security health check booths, so do take advantage of those. If you go, you can get a quick assessment of how secure you've kept your Zoho account, and individually, and even your Zoho corporate account. And you will also get some suggestions on enabling multi-factor authentication or whatever else is needed to make it fully bulletproof. All right, the second pillar of efficiency I want to talk about is, the second pillar of resilience I want to talk about is efficiency. One of the findings from our European and UK digital health study was that an average small to medium business has 6 to 12 disparate systems. And when there is lack of integration between systems, work slows down. Data gets duplicated, sometimes lost, and your teams are really focusing all their time in managing these systems, just keeping the lights on, which has a huge opportunity cost, because now you're not spending that time innovating, which means your competitors who are able to do so will outsmart you over a period of time. And that's where you get the difference from Zoho. We have, over the last 3 decades, built more than 55 products, as I was talking about earlier. Since we have built them all organically, none of these is acquired from another vendor. They work well together and are well integrated, which means as opposed to a dozen odd disparate tools, if you have a connected system, you get the efficiency, you get the seamlessness, and they all work together. Let's look at the case of Articad. They are a company which is in the business of building software for interior design, so think bathrooms, think kitchens and bedrooms. Their internal systems, in their own words, were a bit of Frankenstein's monster. And they used, I didn't want to rely on my memory here, so Sugar CRM for sales, Teamwork for projects, Dot Digital for marketing, Dropbox for file sharing, People HR for HR, Sage for finance. So you get the picture. Each tool is a good tool, no doubt about it, but they didn't speak to each other, which means their customer journey was a bit like hopscotch, starting in one system, jumping into another, and then onto another. And that was causing cracks in the system. They felt like their business was getting fragile, and they decided to move to Zoho One, which has helped. Now they have a seamless integrated journey for their customer. Their sales and marketing and support and finance all can see what each other is doing. They get a single source of truth in terms of a view of their customer. A lot of automation, just completely eliminated a lot of manual work which was happening, and their team they work well together. And in addition to the efficiency, which is, I think, important for the business, there is another aspect to this. When you give the right tools for the right job to your staff, then they find meaning in their work because they are actually able to do the work that you hired them for, instead of spending all this time doing admin stuff. And that makes their life a lot better, and they feel better about being in your organization. The third pillar of resilience I want to talk about is AI. And we know that AI is everywhere today, right from boardroom conversations to every post on LinkedIn. And the hype around AI is so much that it's being projected as a solution for doing research, creating your marketing strategy, who knows, walking your dog. Now, our study had another finding that 54% of the UK businesses wanted to invest in AI this year, but they felt skeptical about it because they were not very sure of how to go about it, what will it mean in terms of their data and the compliances, because it's a very evolving field. Now, in this context, Zoho takes a practical view of AI, moving away from the hype. What we believe is that AI should not be a shiny bolt-on. It should be embedded in everything that you do. So in the apps that you use on a day-to-day basis, you shouldn't even know that there is AI at play. You should just be able to use it the way you use and take advantage of the output of AI in terms of the insights it provides, in terms of the recommendations you get. So it just needs to work under the surface, providing you with that contextual intelligence. That's how we think AI needs to work. And that's how it is working in many of our products, which I'll talk about. And we think that you don't need to pay a lot extra for every time you pay AI, that you use AI. And you may ask why. Because we think that productivity should never come at a premium. So here are some examples of AI being in action already today, and many of you might be familiar and how in using this. So Zia, our AI in CRM, flags at-risk deals, makes recommendations on what should be your next follow-up, with which customer, with which prospect. Zoho Desk gives you conversation summaries. You get to see sentiment analysis. Zia also helps you draft responses to your customers so that your agent's productivity goes up. In Zoho Analytics, you get insights in plain English. It helps you detect anomalies. It helps you give some predictive recommendations, and so on. And a lot more of this you will see in action in the session which will follow later from Suvish, and also who leads our marketing, and also from my colleague Ram, who is our director of AI research. And they will talk a lot more about this as well, but I'm just giving you a quick snapshot. So the next wave of Zia is all about our agentic offering. We are building agents to take care of the common use cases that you have within your organization that we get feedback on from our customers. We are also allowing you to build your own agents using Agent Studio, which is our no-code platform for building agents. We are allowing our partners and third-party developers to build agents and host them in the agent marketplace. And we are launching Zoho MCP, which will help integration with the various Zoho apps and also third-party apps outside the Zoho ecosystem. The fourth pillar of resilience is flexibility. The uncomfortable truth is that the way we work today will not be the same in 2 years. Why I say that? In the context of the current geopolitical environment that we all are familiar with, real wars, trade wars, and coupled with the fast pace of development in AI, which is also impacting pretty much everything we do, our business environment is changing so fast. Our markets, our supply chain may disappear overnight. New competitors may appear overnight. So in a situation like that, it's very difficult to plan, and very difficult to forecast and build your business model around it. The only real strategy you have is to be agile and to be flexible so that you can respond to those changes quickly, faster than your competition, and stay relevant. Sometimes your technology doesn't enable you to do so, which it is expected to, but becomes a bottleneck. Now, this happens when your systems are rigid, slow to adopt. Sometimes your infrastructure doesn't scale. Sometimes every tweak, every change is just a nightmare to handle. Resilience, on the other hand, means flexibility without such friction, which means you should be able to make changes to your system in days instead of weeks and months. A lot of these changes, your business users should be able to make themselves without even the support of IT. And even if they take the support of IT, whether your internal IT or from other consultants in the Zoho ecosystem, it should not cost you an arm and a leg. And that will support you, do your experiments, try some new ideas, scale your business, and respond to the market stimuli. So that we think is possible with Zoho. That's the advantage you get with Zoho. And this is an interesting case of a UK-based consulting company called Beyond Procurement. They have a great mission. They help their customers reduce carbon footprint. I happened to meet Andrew, their founder and CEO, by chance. I was in an event, and we were on a table. He was on the table, and we got talking, and I realized he's a Zoho customer. And then it was so interesting to find out his story and what kind of fantastic achievement he had using Zoho. So they used Salesforce for about 10 years, and great tool, lot of potential, but there was one problem. Every change in the system cost a lot of effort and was expensive, and more often than not, they needed to get a host of developers to make that change. So as they grew, and that required changes to be made in the system to support their growth, instead of enabling their growth, their technology became a bottleneck and was holding them back. So they looked at the alternatives, and they decided to go with Zoho CRM, and very soon they moved to Zoho One. And now their accounting runs on Zoho Books. Their website is powered by Zoho Forms, so anytime a lead comes in, that gets captured, which gets managed in CRM. They use Desk for support, and so on. But overall, able to deliver their projects faster, manage their costs, and now they are able to grow at a pace that they think is right for them. What's interesting here is anytime Andrew gets a request from his team, either the business guys or the tech guys saying, we have to do this now, this is our new requirement, he asks them to look at their Zoho One subscription and says, do we have something already in our Zoho One subscription that you can do to meet this problem? And he says, more often than not, they are able to find the solution there, which is why he shared this quote with us. No matter what the question, Zoho has to be the answer. My last point in terms of our pillars of resilience that I wanted to talk about is a superior, satisfying customer experience that we want to deliver for you all, for our customers. And this is not just in the context of you using our products and how your experience is, not just in the context of how your interaction has been with our sales team, with our support team, but in the larger ecosystem, Zoho ecosystem that you exist. And this year, we have invested quite a bit in strengthening this ecosystem, and it has grown. Our partners are integral to our ecosystem. Our consulting partners help our customers identify, evaluate, and implement Zoho solutions and get the most value out of Zoho solutions. Many of our partners are here today, and you will find them wearing those green lanyards. Feel free to talk to them, learn from their experiences, how they can help. Some of our partners are also sponsors of this event. Thank you. And feel free to meet with them at their booths. This year, our size of our partner ecosystem in the UK has grown by 40%. And what's more interesting is our premium partners, which are the top tier of our partners, their size has grown up by more than 100%, which means there is growth, there is a lot of strength in the ecosystem, which then you can take advantage of. Our own staff has grown by about 40% this year, and we have outgrown our office in Bletchley, and we will be soon moving to our bigger, newer office in central Milton Keynes, which I hope happens if our lawyers let us sign on the lease contract, which they have been working on for the last few months. As part of the expansion of this team, we now have local premium support now being offered from the UK. The part of the team is also the support team, which got built here. We've also made investment in brand awareness of Zoho in the UK. You may have seen our brand adverts in tube stations, train stations, airports, and taxis. I saw one at the Birmingham New Street station when I came in. I hope many of you saw that as well. These are themed around the games, so bowling, chess, noughts and crosses, and so on. And our larger theme here is game-changing value. So why game-changing value, you may ask? It's because we believe that the value that we deliver to you as customers in terms of more trust, more efficiency, more AI, more flexibility, and a better, superior experience, when combined with a predictable and reasonable cost, is fairly unique to us in this industry. And that's why we call it game-changing value. And we think that's good for our customers. Also, it is important for us that you feel good about seeing Zoho outside. Both you and our partners, our customers and partners feel good about it and are reminded that you are with a technology company which is with you for the long term. Olivia and Carl talked about these workshops which are happening. This was a request which came from you from the previous Zoholics that you want deeper learning. So we have enabled those. And we will do more of these. They all got sold out. This is our attempt to address the skill gap which exists in our Zoho ecosystem. So we're doing these workshops, but we also have user group sessions which happen throughout the country About 50 of them happened in the UK in the previous year. So take advantage of those as well. And for the very first time, you learned about that in the previous session as well. We are really happy to introduce customer awards in Zoholics to celebrate the success of our customers. We think this is really important. These are the businesses which have made good use of technology to create a huge impact. These are the real stories of resilience. So don't miss out to come to Hall 3 at 5:30 p.m. for the awards ceremony. So to sum it all up, I would say that while UK is at a turning point with its economic, political, geopolitical challenges, Zoho is here to make sure that you are covered in 2025 and beyond. That's our promise. Thank you.